Encouraging, empowering, inspiring each other on this journey of faith. United in purpose, sisters in love we are. Women were leaders.
Welcome to Celebrating God's Grace, a Woman World Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Julie Harwick. Thank you for joining me today as we celebrate God's grace in our lives, in this ministry, and around the world. Exactly when the Christmas season begins is up for debate, and for many, that date moves up a little earlier each year. I remember as a child begging to put up our artificial Christmas tree in early December and being told it was still too early. This year, I noticed most of the neighborhood entrances in my area were fully decorated and lit for Christmas the first weekend in November. Whether you begin your Christmas traditions early or late, there are usually a lot of them, and they can easily take over your life throughout the month of December. There are presents to be purchased and wrapped, parties and concerts to attend, decorating to be done, Christmas cards or letters to send out, cooking, baking, the list goes on. As much as we may love Christmas, we can also be overwhelmed by it. It's easy to get so caught up in all there is to do that we forget why we're doing any of it. I have always loved allegories. God has used them to communicate to me through His Word and other authors' words. When the prophet Nathan confronted David about his sin with Bathsheba, he was taking a huge risk. In those days, the king had every right to put to death anyone who dared to question him. God showed Nathan a very effective way to get his point across with a story about a poor man with one precious lamb he loved dearly. His wealthy neighbor had a guest to entertain, and instead of choosing one of his own lambs from his extensive flocks, he took his poor neighbor's beloved lamb for his visitor's special meal. This seemingly unrelated story captured David's heart and instantly opened his eyes to the horrible sin he had committed. I loved reading C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia repeatedly because each time I read them, I saw some new symbolism and meaning that I had missed before. 13 years ago, when I was in the midst of raising children and trying to make a memorable Christmas for my family and feeling overwhelmed by all that it entailed, God gave me an allegorical story that cut me to the quick because it showed me that I had entirely the wrong approach in celebrating Christmas. I envisioned it as a short film starring my then 15-year-old daughter, who at the time was a budding actress. We were never able to actually produce it, so I changed the format so that it could be shared in story form. And I'd like to share it with you now. It's titled, Happy Jenna's Birthday. There once was a girl named Jenna who was about to celebrate a really important birthday. Her friends and family always made a big deal of her birthday, and yet somehow it always left her feeling less special to them rather than more. But this year promised to be different. Jenna held in her hand an invitation to a birthday party given in her honor. As she approached the home where it was being held, she allowed herself to get a little bit excited. This time, it would be different. After all, they wouldn't have gone to the trouble to plan such an event and take time out to be there if they didn't really care. And look, there were balloons tied to the mailbox and a large, colorful banner that read, Happy Jenna's Birthday. There were cars parked up and down the street, and she could hear music and laughter as she approached the door. She rang the bell, but got no response, and after knocking, no one came to the door. She supposed that because of the noise, no one heard the bell or the knocking, and figuring that party protocol dictated she should just walk in, that's what she did. Once inside, she was amazed at the number of people filling the room. All her friends and family were there, and even quite a few people she didn't know. "I'm here," she announced, but no one seemed to hear her. Hello," she tried, but still no one seemed to take notice of her. She looked around the room, taking in the impressive decorations. There were streamers and balloons, twinkling lights strung on a tree, decorated with shiny balls of pink and green, her favorite colors. A coffee table held a display someone had made out of clay. It depicted the hospital room where she had been born, along with figures of her mother, father, and her newborn self. There was a large, elaborate cake on the table, once again in her favorite colors, pink and green, which read, "Happy Jenna's Birthday." She noticed some friends gathered around a piano. She tapped Beth on the shoulder. "Oh, hi," Beth said, not really making eye contact. "We're just singing some birthday songs. You can join us if you want. Hey, how about Deck the Halls?" The pianist launched into a joyful rendition as those gathered around sang, "Deck the halls, it's Jenna's birthday, fa la 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 la. We love it much more than Earth Day, fa la 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 la." Their silly lyric faded as she walked toward a group of friends gathered around a man known for his ability to tell a story. As she joined their circle, someone glanced toward her and explained, "Mike's been telling us about his vacation to the Grand Canyon. He really cracks me up." Mike began another anecdote as Jenna began to search for someone who wasn't already fully engaged in the laughter and conversation. Across the room, her eyes met those of a close friend headed toward her with a beautifully wrapped package. "Emma," she exclaimed, "you didn't need to bring a gift." Emma's smile fell, and Jenna sensed a presence just behind her. She glanced over her shoulder and saw Emma's good friend, Helen. "For me?" she squealed with delight as she reached for the gift. "Jenna," Emma began awkwardly. Actually, this gift is for Helen." "Happy Jenna's birthday," she said as she handed it to the girl who seemed oblivious to the uncomfortable situation. I haven't been able to find just the right thing for you, Jenna," she explained as her face reddened. "I want it to be perfect, you know? So, next time I see you..." She now turned her full attention to Helen, who was opening the package as Jenna moved away. "All right, people," a loud voice announced. "It's time for cake." Relieved to finally have a purpose and escape her embarrassment, Jenna headed toward the table with the cake. "Excuse me," she said as she attempted to squeeze her way forward through the throngs that circled the table. "Happy Jenna's birthday," they began to sing. You might want to wait until I get within blowing range," she thought. But they finished the song, tightened up ranks so that she was trapped, and at the song's conclusion, corporately blew out the candles. "Well, that was different," she mumbled to no one in particular. "I am kind of hungry. I guess this is the line for cake," she thought. The crowd pressed close around her, but no one spoke to her or acknowledged her in any way. When she finally reached the table, she found only crumbs. "Isn't it ironic," she thought, "how you can be surrounded by people and feel so alone? How you can be celebrated and feel so unwanted? This year was no different, only in the sense that it was worse and clearer than ever that she had no real place in their hearts. "I think I'll be going now," she announced, adding, "Happy Jenna's birthday," in a flat, disappointed voice. As she closed the door behind her, no one noticed she had left her party. How many times has Jesus had those same thoughts and feelings? It's his birthday we're supposedly celebrating, but we so easily get distracted and focus on the celebration, not the reason for it. Sure, we go to church on Christmas Eve and have a manger scene in our home. We sing songs about his birth, and we may even have a birthday party for Jesus with our kids. But is it really all for him? You'd think that Satan might want to suppress any ideas of celebrating Christ's birth. After all, that was a very dark day for him. Of course, we know that he is a wily adversary, And it seems he found greater success in making it the grandest celebration of the year rather than trying to eliminate it. He managed to get us to set aside a humble, holy miracle in favor of a holiday season that continues to grow longer and more elaborate. I have to admit that I love every aspect of Christmas. The lights, the decorations, the music, the food, everything we do to celebrate the occasion. I'm not suggesting we abandon all these things, because they have the potential to enhance our celebration of the Savior's birth. But they also have the potential to derail it. I really don't want to let that happen. So in the coming weeks, I intend to be intentional about making this Christmas a happy birthday, Jesus, and not a happy Jesus' birthday. Thanks for listening to Women World Leaders Podcast. Join us each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as we explore together God's extravagant love and your courageous purpose. Visit our website at womenworldleaders.com to submit a prayer request, register for an upcoming event, and support the ministry. From His heart to yours, we are Women World Leaders. All content is copyrighted by Women World Leaders and cannot be used without express written consent.